Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're going to get started on part 3 of the 2024 Fall Village. And really the primary focus on today is getting the buildings on, getting them traced around with a marker to where we know exactly where to put the grass. We're going to lay the grass today. We're going to glue water mixture it when it's all said and done. We're going to let it sit and bake, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next part. But let's go ahead and jump off the tripod and get started by placing the buildings on each piece, tracing around them, and then putting the grass down. Okay, so I've got the first piece sort of set up here. This is a very simple piece. It's not very difficult to do. It's going to have the kind of the center display with the hay bales and the pumpkins and the truck and the sign. We've got the water tower, pumpkin water tower, going to be sitting back here. All of those can be set in the grass without much issue. However, these, I want to make sure that we put the grass just around them. And so in order to do that, we're just going to simply use this black magic marker, and we're going to trace where the buildings are going to sit so we know exactly where to put the grass, and more importantly, where not to put the grass. I believe these cords are just going to fall off the back. It's not that big of a deal on these. Shouldn't be anyway. Okay. There you have it. This piece is now ready. As you see, everything has been traced around, and so we are ready to then, oops, I missed the side over here. That's an important piece. So let's put that back on and come around this side. All right. There we go. Building is now traced, and you can see exactly where the grass is not going to go versus where it's going to go. So let's get the other two platforms done, and then we'll start putting some grass down. Okay, so this one is now ready, and we're basically going to do the same thing by tracing out the areas where the grass needs to go. I do see some areas, I think, where some more sand needs to be pulled in. And so we will do that at the exact same time we're putting grass on the house. We'll just do that together to make sure that we're covering every aspect of this build. Okay, simple as that. I'm not going to videotape me drawing around the next ones. Obviously, it's pretty simple. We're just going to get ready to put some grass and some sand back into place and go from there. Okay, well, I'm outside. Clearly, you can tell it's a hot day today, so we're going to do this as long as the camera will hold out. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I've got everything set up. I'm going to readjust the camera so you can watch it more of a level that's more appropriate so you can see what's going on. You've seen this before, but in case you haven't, we're going to show you again. So let's get started gluing down some grass. Okay, so you guys have seen this before. This is just the white Craftsmart PVA glue, school glue, whatever you want to call it. And I've got it in a cup here with a larger brush for a larger area. So I'm just going to start putting this on fairly thick. Okay, well, you see me back and certainly in the kitchen at this point, and I've changed shirts. So what does that mean? Well, it's been a couple of days since I started the original part of this video. It's just simply, it was too hot outside. The camera shut itself off. So I went ahead and finished putting the grass down. So you guys didn't miss much. You've seen that before. Plus you're going to see it. You just saw a little bit of it. It's the same process for all of it. And then what you didn't see, because it just simply got too hot, I put these into our storage shed and just let them bake for the rest of the day and then all into the next morning. When I took them out, they were ready to finish. And so what I did off camera, because again, it was just simply too hot, the camera would have shut down again. And you have to do this stuff outside. Otherwise your house or your garage will just be a complete and utter mess. And that is, you pluck the rest of the loose grass off, the moss, you pick all that off. Once you've done all that, then you look for any areas that may have come off that you didn't want to come off. In this case, there wasn't much, but if there is, you add a little extra glue and a little extra moss that you just pulled off. And then you wet the whole thing down with the isopropyl alcohol. And again, we've covered this in plenty of videos. That just helps to break the surface tension. So the kind of a precursor to the glue water mixture running all down throughout the grass and drying it out. I did all of that. I put the isopropyl alcohol all over the platforms to include the sand. And then I put glue water, the mixture. And again, there's no ratio. It's a little bit of glue to a lot of water. Some people say 50-50. For me, if I use 50-50, it'll never come out of the nozzle. It'll clog everything up. So it's probably a 25-75 ratio if you want a ratio. Just mix it and use it is my suggestion. So I sprayed that all over the platforms to include the sand, and that just locks everything in place. Once that was, completely wet with the glue water mixture, I put those back in our storage shed. I closed the door. It's like an oven in there in the Phoenix summertime. And so within probably, I let them stay in there all that day. And then this morning I took them out and they are incredibly crunchy. Everything is dry just the way it's supposed to be. And so now I've taken all the houses and none of the accessories for the most part, just all of the pieces that I plan on putting onto this platform, and we're going to take a look at that and show you what it looks like. And as we do that, I'll tell you what's coming next. But just want to get this video wrapped up. It's been a hot last few days here in Phoenix, and the weather forecast actually indicates that it's actually going to be hotter next week. We're still going to have at least one day right now of 113 degrees. So, man, I really want to start decorating for fall, but it certainly doesn't feel like fall. But hey, with that, let's jump off of the tripod and let you see and catch you up to where we are today and let you see what it looks like. Okay, as we walk over, you can kind of see what it's starting to turn out like. I'm pretty pleased with it, to be honest with you. It looks really, really good, I think. Let's just start kind of on the side, just kind of show you the striations in the platform and the way that's starting to shape up with the grass, and the sand is now hard as a rock. Everything is in place and it's not going anywhere. And if you listen, I mean, that is really, really crunchy grass. Same with none of that's going anywhere. That's permanent. That's going to stay just like that. And that's what that glue water mixture does for you. It doesn't create a big mess. And so we've got the apple barn setting up top. As you guys know, that is probably, if not my all-time favorite Department 56 piece, certainly one of the top 5 that I have in my collection. And then we've got the make and take scarecrow shack right there. And obviously next is going to be a resin pour. We've got to do a resin pour here, and then a resin pour on the other side over there. So we'll mix up some resin on the next video, and we'll pour some resin in there. We'll color it a little bit with some paint, just to give it a little more of a blue sheen. That's why we painted the color we did sort of down here, to kind of help that. But we'll add just a little bit of blue to it, not much. We'll mix that up and put it in, and then that needs to sit. We'll cover it with some Tupperware plastic throwaway storage containers or something, or maybe just a foil tent or something, just to keep the things out of it, dust and whatnot, as it dries. It'll need to cure for 24 hours before it's ready to finalize. And then we can see where the platforms sort of go into the next platform. You see the ramp coming down, a little bit of a gap there, not bad. We could probably scooch it just a little closer together, but that's about as good as it's going to get, and that's okay. Then we go into the next area, which is a little bit lower in terms of elevation, and I like that. So we go from a higher elevation to a medium elevation down to a low elevation. And here's going to be sort of the centralized part of the display. This is going to be the lit pumpkins, the hay bales. You've got the accessories we're going to put down on there as well. And so with a couple of lights as well, old country looking street lights, I think I'm going to put down there. Still got to work on those as well. So still a lot to do here, but it's coming together pretty nice. You can see the circular grass spot right in the middle, sort of kind of the central courtyard or whatever you want to call that. Just a spot for photos and the sign for Pumpkin Patch Farm. And you've got the water tower obviously behind all that. And so a couple of things have to happen here. One, I've got to take the hot wire foam tool sometime, and I'll do that off camera. It's not a big deal, but we're going to put a hole back here for the sign to light up. We're going to put a hole up here for the lit pumpkins. I'm going to put, these are too far forward, I think, to just run cords to the back. I mean, I don't think you'd ever see them, especially with trees back there. So I think what I'll do is probably poke another couple of holes with a hot wire foam tool behind these pieces, and so the cords can go down through and out the back, and no one would ever be the wiser. So I've absolutely got to drill a few more holes in that. And then over here for Cal's kettle corn, you can see the plug goes right into the side. So right back in here, I'm going to drill another hot wire foam tool, another hole into that, and then bring the cord up and just around the side. So that'll be hidden underneath. You'll never see that either. And then everything else, to include Jack's Pumpkin Carving Studio, the Apple Barn, and Make and Take Scarecrow Shack, will all just the cords will just fall right off the back of the display and be plugged into a power surge protector that's going to be behind this display. And then, much like the leaves, the garland you see here, it'll be a fall garland, but it'll be hiding all the cords, so you'll never see them. As you come across the rest of the display, coming from the main base up into this piece here, it's a pretty smooth transition. And you get up here, you're going to have another small pond that is going to be resin filled. And then you've got your pathway leading to Cal's, Crazy Cal's kettle corn and the Rolling Acres corn maze. And if you notice behind there, the grass is a little different looking. So I added a little more of the burnt grass, the more of the old dead grass looking back there, just sort of give it an extra realistic look of it being sort of trampled down with a bunch of people walking on it. And then corn stalks are going to be put in there. If you go back, if I know somebody's going to ask me how I'm going to do the corn stalks, I'm doing them the exact same way as I did the scary farmhouse and barn display that I did about a year ago. So if you go back and watch that video, it's the same exact process, the exact same corn stalks. I still have plenty of them. And so those are going to be put into the ground there in somewhat of a maze pattern. I'm not going to get completely carried away with it. And then probably a scarecrow back in there that'll light up as well. And so that's done, or will be done. That's how that looks. I just wanted the grass to look a little bit different. You can kind of see the differences there, just to help sell the look of the realism piece of it. And then as we come up the hill and up the stairs, you've got Jack's Pumpkin Carving Studio. Again, this is one of my favorite pieces. This is a Light Anywhere Department 56 piece, and they do make an adapter. It comes with an adapter actually for a just a normal light or a power cord and a light. And that's what I've done with mine. It's got an orange bulb in it. I think it looks much, much better. And it's a lot brighter being powered up like that. So I absolutely love that. So that is the display. Nothing really else. Obviously, it still needs to be completely decorated with all the accessories, the fall leaves. So what are we doing next, I guess, to kind of help this display come along? Because we're pretty close. We're probably about 80% done with this display. So what's coming next is we got to do that resin pour. That'll take 24 hours to cure. Once that's done, we'll put some realistic water effects from Woodland Scenics on top of that and kind of have a little bit of ripple effect to it. We're going to put some cattails in and around it. We're going to hot glue some rocks out of the yard around some of the edge just to kind of, make it look a little more like a pond. And then we're going to put some fall leaves down, and we're going to secure those to the grass with glue water mixture so they're permanent. We've got some different types of trees that we're going to see which looks better. I found some trees on Amazon. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about them yet because I'm not exactly sure they'll work. They're actually not trees. They're floral picks. I thought they looked pretty good, so I ordered several sets of those. They're red in color. I've been looking for some red trees, and I think these will work, but I'm not 100% sure. Once I'm 100% sure, I'll show you what they are and show you how I've built them. But then we've got the whole fall set from Department 56 that we include in here. We've got the metal trees from Hobby Lobby that we may include in here. I just don't know exactly where we're going to put all of this, but time will tell, and we'll just see what looks the best and go with that. So resin will be next. We've got to do some street lights. I want to put at least 2 street lights here with in the center of this, one on either side for sure. I may throw another street light up in this area here, and then maybe one or so over here. So we've got to do the lights. I've got those. I need to break those out. More than likely, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the single adapter on them and then use the pigtail from Evan Designs to be able to plug in, 3 or 4 or 5, whatever we put on the display, into one single plug. And that way it just takes one adapter off the 3-prong adapter from Department 56 to work those. I think it'll work that way. I've still got to check. They're a little bit older, but so that's coming as well. And then after that, then it is just final details, trees, accessories, pumpkin patch, things like that, just to really decorate it up. We won't do any of that until we're ready to display it. And so that's actually coming pretty soon. This is the 17th. Is today the 17th? I don't even know what day it is. Today is let me look. It is the 17th of August. And so I would like to have this will probably be one of the first displays I set up, because I think once it's done and I test fit everything, it's probably not going to go anywhere again. It'll probably be the first display up in our home. And I would anticipate that'll be within the next week. I will have, I hope, all of this stuff done. So within the next week, this will likely be the first display that goes up and stays up in our home through the fall and Halloween season. So hopefully you see the progress. I think it's coming along fairly nice. This has been a long time coming. Again, I'm kind of constrained a little bit with some counter space here, so I didn't get to include everything that I wanted to include on this display. But I think for the size, it's going to look really, really nice once it's done and detailed. So there's a closer look at the 2024 Fall Village from Department 56. Okay, well, hopefully you've enjoyed the part 3 of this fall 2024 Department 56 build. I know I've certainly enjoyed building it. I know it doesn't seem quite like fall. I want it to. We all want it to. But around here, it's still fairly hot. It's not fair. It's just really hot. So hopefully that'll go away soon and we can continue to build. I'd like to do more of this stuff outside and be able to take you along with me. Unfortunately, it's just so hot. The camera doesn't even want to cooperate at gets too hot and it shuts itself down. You've seen that before throughout the seasons. I anticipate you'll probably see it again next season as well as we continue on this journey together. So, hey, if you've liked this video, you've learned something, make sure that you click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and consider doing so. The channel continues to grow, over 5,000 subscribers. So thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It helps the channel to grow. It helps me out personally. It was brought up that there's an idea that may be floating around, that one of the subscribers sent my way of a contest, a village contest, a village building contest. I still need to think about that and figure out how we're going to do that. But I may have some more details on that here shortly coming up. And that would be a contest for you folks who subscribe to the channel to showcase some of the builds that you've done and you're working on. And then we'll figure out a way to vote. And then the winner gets a Department 56 piece or something that will be sent out. So we'll figure out how we're going to do all of that in the coming days and weeks. We still have some time. So if you're working on something, think about how you would showcase that in maybe a small video or something like that. So, hey, with that, we're going to end this one and wrap it up. So until we talk again next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you again real soon.